Or should I say good night?
Good morning.
Good morning, in fact, yeah.
Good morning, yeah.
The wee hours, we're sat here for MPM with Wayne Doyle of Scarlet Rebels.
Hello.
Backstage, post-gig. 2022, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. You okay?
Yeah, we're good, man. Album launch day.
Yesterday.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. I mean, exciting times. I mean, how's it been, the build-up to this?
Oh, it's just been yeah, busy, overwhelming, massively overwhelming. People's support is just mad, really. But it's just appreciated massively. Yeah, it's just been brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, we're sat here tonight after something I felt really quite special. Was that vibe carried through to the stage?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the whole point of it. You know, like the initial day it was cancelled. We wanted people to, you know, to do something which, to be involved in something which, you know, was a thank you really to people that have, you know, really gone into bat for us when we needed them to. So, yeah, it was a lovely evening. Yeah, it's been brilliant. Yeah.
Phenomenal set, hour and a half, probably the longest you've played.
Yeah, we've got
potentially.
Hero now as well.
That's it. You know, you've got so much strength in depth there now, and breadth. And this album, mate, seriously, what a phenomenal piece of work.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, there's an edge there now. What I would sort of refer to in my review as a blue collar, sort of Bob Dylan-esque, Springsteen sort of vibe. Words to the working class people.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see Through Blue?
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's just my take on what has gone on over the past 2 years, pretty much. You know what I've seen and experienced, and you know watched and read and everything. So I think when I was writing lyrically the album and stuff, I couldn't help but have it bleed into what I was doing. It just informed, you know, it was just on, clearly it was on my mind, you know, and it just came out in the song. So, but I just think, you know, what we've done is we've just captured a piece of time which, you know, like we'd be able to listen back to that in 10 years and people go, oh, yeah,
No, it's just
sums up the pandemic.
Totally synonymous with what we've all experienced in one perspective or another.
Yeah, I think so, and you know, so. You know, I mean, like the people that you've mentioned are my idols and heroes and stuff. You know, Springsteen and well, definitely Springsteen. You know, he's just. So yeah, you know, I think. You know, when you've got the opportunity to just put something out there and, you know, to have a small, massive platform, you know, I think there's a place for it to be. To be discussed and put out there so people think, and yeah, I'm glad we did, because basically we just weren't in the place to be singing about fast cars and alcohol and women and, do you know what I mean? Like rock and roll. It was more, you know.
Let's have some resonance. Let's tell it as it is still.
Yeah.
You know, it's been quite a journey just to get tonight to happen. Project and launch Through Blue today as part of that celebration, which now carries on through several record store signings, your charity bike ride.
Yeah. Yeah. But I, you know, it's just one of those, you know, I think it's not just us, you know, everybody's going through it, band wise and promoter wise, as you know, and you know,
sure.
Like, you know, everybody's, you know, making do and, you know, pulling rabbits out of hats pretty much to try and make stuff happen. So it's been really nice tonight. It's been really nice. It's been really nice to bookmark it with something and, you know, stream it and everything. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we're kind of coming through the back end of everything that we've been through. But yeah, just, you know, there's just so many things that I think are, you know, needing to be spoken about. And I just you know, there's so many good bands that do the type of music, you know,
For sure.
that are really good bands.
Yeah.
So I just kind of think, like, well, you know, if we not politicize everything and become Rage Against the Machine or anything, like, you know, but just to write songs about things which are so
one of the things
relevant.
is what does give Through Blue and naturally yourselves as a quintet, that little bit of an edge compared to some of your peers. It's that socio-political dimension to several of the songs on the album.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't sit down to just, to write songs like Tory bashing.
No, it wasn't a bash Boris.
No, but it just, it just certain things are just bleeding out of me really. So, I think when we were recording it, and when we were doing the lyrics and stuff, the rest of the boys like blinking heck, this is quite pointed, because they don't hear what I'm writing lyrically until I go in and I record the vocals in the booth and stuff, and then come out into the control room and like, wow, God, this is you don't like Boris Johnson very much kind of thing, and I was like, no, well, but I don't know, it was just trying to capture it as it was, and I think
so.
And you can't get away from it. We recorded an album in a time which was really a struggle for so many people, and all I seemed to read and watch was people who are meant to run the country and do the best for for their public, regardless of race, colour, creed, background, social standing, and they didn't. They just feathered and bettered their own sort of, or what they would class their own class.
Yeah.
And and it just annoyed me, and and it still does, and I think you're seeing it now that what we wrote about 2 years ago is probably more relevant now than what it was when we did write it. So because it's all coming out now.
Yeah, that's it. But you had sensed it as an undercurrent. Previously.
Yeah, I think so. And there was a lot of like political unrest across the world about the George Floyd thing, and I was just like, I just couldn't get over that. There were people that were getting upset by people doing peaceful protest by taking a knee and stuff, and I was just like, just let people be,
Absolutely.
If they've got something to show that they're disgust about whatever,
solidarity in.
Yeah, and it's just, I just like I said, I just don't understand why people get upset with it, and all that kind of thing was just this whole climate around. It just seemed like it was a tinderbox waiting to go.
Yeah, and I think you used this phrase earlier on. You become a lightning rod for that sort of social comment.
Yeah. I think it's it's just really nice to see that people now can hear the material, can certain songs being released, but then the album as a whole works as a whole.
Yeah, and
you put it on and it does. You kind of go, I get where it's coming from. Just certain songs in isolation, maybe go, what's that got to do with this, that, and the other? And it's like, okay, it's a piece of art. It does kind of blend into each other. Everything is separate. It's like having separate, chapters in a book, I guess. But
for sure. And you open up with the first 5 chapters. They're the singles you've released, and you think, is this going to be the cream of the crop? And things fall away over the precipice. But the album doesn't do that.
Yeah.
It surprises, and you just go through onto side 2, and it just climbs.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that, because I think that's the thing. I think everybody that we've spoken to has got different favourites and stuff. I think that's it's a good thing. I mean, I think we can have we can be polarising in that respect. Some people like the sort of slower music that we do, and some people like the more rocky bits that we do. So it's all good. It's all good. I mean, we had 15 songs recorded, and some of the ones that we left off, for me would have sat on the album easily. So we did. We worked really hard. And we didn't have much to do. Do you know what I mean? All I had to do really was sit and just write. I watched Netflix and write songs. So that was pretty much what it was. Yeah. But we have been around for a long time. So I have written a lot of songs that people obviously haven't heard, or and you just do get better as you get older. So
because you look back to your previous album, Show Your Colours, and that was a band coming together.
Yeah.
Back 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
This is now the full cohesive effort of the 5.
Yeah.
And I think that comes through in absolute spade loads.
Yeah, I think so. Show Me Colours was me kind of leaving the void tag behind, and saying this is who we are now. This is, we're Scarlet Rebels, and yeah, and that's the thing. I think we wanted everything to be taken on a notch, which is why we didn't settle for anybody just putting the album out. We wanted to work with the best people we could possibly work with. So then obviously we managed to get Rick who were interested to do it, and so yeah, everything has stepped up a notch.
Let's just now create cleverly, my pronunciation, rock and roll history. Yeah.
That's the aim, yeah, and I think all, like I said, I've said it to a few people tonight. To a lot of people, it might not mean anything. A little band from Slaney who become the first band to have a UK top 40 album, but for me and the boys, it legitimises us in a way, that we've absolutely struggled for years and years and years to find an audience, and we finally kind of discovered and stumbled upon a scene which is growing and thriving, and you become part of it, and then through that you kind of find your own niche and your own way, like you said, and yeah, so if that is what the end result of it, then it's just a massive flag in the mountain.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we were fortunate last year, September I think it was, to go down and see you guys at Gravesend, and on that one night it was evident an audience has found you, and you have found your audience.
Yeah, I think you speak to a lot of bands that will say the same, but I think specifically for myself, Gary, and P in the band, we were travelling around as Void for ages, and we just couldn't find, just didn't know that this scene was sort of erupting, and then we fell into it somehow, and then yeah, it's just become, well, like it has been, but I think people are just so supportive of it, and of new music and new rock bands, and it's right because what happens when the Foo Fighters stop, but what happens when the Who stop?
Indeed,
and
who we've lost this week,
yeah,
Meatloaf,
exactly, yeah, and who are we going to have headlining Glastonbury in 20 years' time if there isn't a new AC/DC or...
Indeed, there has to be something coming through.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and there are so many good bands, and there's so many people willing to support it, and it's just growing, and it's just really good to see.
Last weekend we had the privilege of covering the HRH New Wave Classic Rock Festival. There's nigh on 1,500 people there.
Yeah.
No one could have imagined that 5 years ago, and I think that's...
Yeah, 100%. It's just growing all the time. It's really interesting. Yeah, and it's good because everybody's cultivating it, and and it's cross-pollination with different bands, different fan groups, and all that kind of thing, and everybody's sort of giving each other a leg up and that kind of thing. And I think for me that is a little bit why a lot of people have taken it upon themselves to go, it matters that we do this because we've been doing it for so long as well. So if we can manage to do this, then it just shows that anybody can, and hard work, and not just hard work, but absolute stubbornness and belligerence on our behalf, just to say we're not giving it in until we feel that we've had a campaign which we've gone, everything there worked out as best as we could, and it didn't work out fair enough. Everything has just always been like it always is with bands, but we've always just felt, what, this was wrong, that was wrong. We've not ever given ourselves a chance to use the screenboard.
You think about all the difficulties you've overcome, the loss of the tour before Christmas.
Yeah, but
the loss of the tour.
Yeah.
That should have been part of tonight.
Yeah.
Pushed back to April, and then just the whole mess of the situation we are, and here you are now on the absolute precipice of charting.
Well, yeah, fingers crossed, touch wood. But that is, it's not just us, and I know that it isn't just us that's having all that stuff that they've got to deal with. So, but at the same time, it is like, you know, we were given opportunity to work with some really, you know, with people who know exactly what they're doing, and they put that plan in place, you know, to go out to a charity. So basically, you know, you go out and you just get new fans through just that, you know. Like I said, we would potentially be playing in front of 1,000 people a night. So even like a conservative thing, we could say maybe 10 or 15 people would be converted into Scarlet Rebels followers, and then maybe that would think to 5, 10 album sales, whatever. And it gets taken away, and you know that you can't, you know, that kind of exposure is massive. So when that gets pulled from you, you start to think, oh, what's going on? But like I said, you know, the rock community and the people who follow us and stuff are just properly coming to bat for us and really pull rabbits at the hat, you know. And yes, you know, from what I believe, we'll find out this coming Friday, but from what I'm led to believe is that there's a chance. And that's all we've ever asked for, you know. Yeah. So if it happens, then, you know, it'll just be amazing.
It's not just the fans, but there's promoters, big ones, you know. Planet Rock got you on Winter's End coming in March.
Yeah.
Love Rocks, the Steelhouse Crowd, Cornwall Rocks.
Yeah.
You know, there's a raft of festivals.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, they're the ones that we've wanted to do for ages. You know, like you want to be on Winter's End and Rockstock. You want to be on Steelhouse, especially being Welsh. It's a big deal, you know. So that's one that that's been on our radar for years and years and years. We wanted to get up the mountain, as people say, and just to be part of it, you know, because we've never even been part of it, so that we can say that we were like alumni kind of, you know, people, even if we weren't on that year, it's like, well, you know, we're part of the family because we've done it before. So we just wanted to cross that border just to say, well, we've done it, and now we're part of that crew that maybe come back in 2 years or whatever.
Absolutely.
You know? So yeah, I mean, all that stuff is just massively positive. So yeah, if the next week goes well, and then, you know, taking that momentum into that, then, you know, anything is possible, really, you know, for us. But it's just exciting. It's just really exciting. It's really humbling, and, you know, I'm nervous as well. You know, it's like,
sure.
You know, but yeah, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be, whatever happens. You know, the year that we got planned out is gonna be super, I think. So yeah.
Exciting times ahead, Wayne.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well,
we will let you get home.
Yeah, thanks everyone.